Okay, so welcome to 5.1 video lesson number 2. We will be looking at example number 2, a real-life application. This will be the first example where we have to write our own equations or our own system of two equations. It will be tricky if you're not sure how to put everything together as an equation. Okay, so I provided you with a guide for this example. I will give you a guide to help you write the equations for now, and we will do practice together. After a while, you will hopefully recognize what the system is supposed to look like, and you will have more experience with putting the values into the equation on your own. So later on, you are not going to have a guide like this to help you set up the equations. But like I said in the beginning, I will give you a guide as such. Now, I'd like you to pause the video and read the story. And when you are ready to write the equation, press play. Okay? So I'm going to read this story to you one more time. It says, a kicker on a football team scores 1 point for making an extra kick and 3 points for making a field goal. The kicker makes a total of 8 extra kicks and field goals in a game. The kicker also scores a total of 12 points. Write and solve a system of linear equations to find the number x of extra kicks and the number y of field goals. So now I would like you to pause the video and try to underline or find any important information that will help you write the equations. Okay? So pause the video, read it again, and underline or circle important information. So I've underlined the important parts in the story, and let's use each of these guys to help us write the equations. So I underlined that it is 1 point for making an extra kick, and I use that in orange, and I use pink for 3 points for making a field goal because I want to highlight that this is a field goal. So I used pink. And then it says there are 8 extra kicks and field goals, and there is a score of total 12 points. And the number of extra kicks is x, the number of field goals is y. So these are the ones I underlined. So let's see. The first one says to take the number of extra kicks x, and we don't know what the number of kicks because I even underline find the number of extra kicks. So we'll leave it with an x. And this guide here will even tell you where to put x. Then add the number of field goals, just like the x. We don't know it because that's also something we're finding. So we're going to use that as y. But I do know the total number of kicks, and that was 8, because it says here the total number of kicks, field goals in a game is 8. So that will be 8. So we figured out the first part using this guide. It's x plus y is equal to 8 for our first equation. Because systems of linear equation should have 2 or more, and we only have 1, and we have 1 more equation to find. Now I'm going to change color and try to match each part with the guide. So if you look at the other information, it says it is only 1 point for each extra kick. And if you look back down here, point per extra kick, there's an empty space, and we know that it's 1 point. So we're going to use 1. And the number of extra kicks, that should be kicks here, I'm sorry. The number of extra kicks we used was x, letter x. So that will be x. And the number of field goals is also y. And then I underline in pink here that it was 3 points for making a field goal. So when there are points per field goal, it will be 3. The last part is the total number of points. And the story, it tells us how many points they scored in total. It says total of 12 points. So we're going to fill this in as 12. Now, it tells me to multiply the number of kicks to the number of extra kick, here x, and then it tells me to multiply 3 to y. So if I rewrite this equation, 1 times x is x, or you can write it as 1x if you want to, plus 3 times y is 3y equals 12. So here are my two equations, x plus y equals 8 and x plus 3y equals 12. And again, you don't have to write this one. You can leave it invisible. Okay, so here are the two equations that we set up. Now the next part is to solve, and we're going to solve this by graphing. So now I'm going to use the next slide to do the graphing part. Now, we found our equation. The first one was x plus y equals 8, and the second one was x plus 3y equals 12. We have a system of linear equation. Now, one thing we practiced last chapter, chapter 4, was taking these two equations and writing them in slope-intercept forms, the form y equals mx plus b. Because I told you, slope-intercept form is useful for graphing. And these equations are in standard form. So now we're going to have to change it to y equals mx plus b form. So please pause the video, and I want you to write both equations in slope-intercept forms. And when you think you have it, press play to check your answers. For people who are not sure, I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that. The first one is x plus y equals 8. I'm going to have y alone. I need to solve for y. I'm going to subtract x both sides. And I have y equals 8 minus x. And the slope-intercept form needs to have x first. So you're going to have to switch the order. It'll be y equals negative x first, and that's positive 8, so you can write that as plus 8. Now you don't have to do this, you can go directly from this step to that step, because 8 minus 8, you could have just written negative x first and then the positive 8. So that's one. The second one is x plus 3y equals 12. So then again, we're going to subtract x both sides. I have 3y equals, and I'm going to write negative x first, negative x, that's positive 12, so plus 12. Then I'm going to divide both sides and everything here by 3. And I know that there's an invisible 1 here, so in the end I have y equals negative 1 over 3x plus 12 divided by 3 is 4, so positive 4. Here are the two equations. Equation 1 in slope-intercept form and equation 2 in slope-intercept form. Okay? So now this equation 1 and equation 2 have been changed to slope-intercept form, and we're going to use this to graph both equations. Please remember, when you graph, don't make it sloppy looking. Keep it straight. So you need to get a ruler if you need to. Okay? So the slope for this is negative 1 of invisible 1, which is negative 1 over 1 in fraction. And the y-intercept will be 8. Then equation 2, the slope is negative 1 over 3, and I'm going to make the top number negative, so negative 1 over 3, and then the y-intercept is 4. So let's graph them. Make sure you label the axes. Horizontal line is the x-axis, y-axis. And we said x stands for the number of extra kicks, and y stands for number of field goals, so please label them here. I'm going to graph equation 1 in red. The y-intercept is 8. Oh, it's not graphing. And the slope is -1/1. So that's down 1 and right 1. Down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Continue and draw the line. So here is my graph. Make sure the lines are not going outside of this quadrant because you cannot have negative number of goals or negative number of kicks. So it has to stay inside the box. And also, when you label the line, please write them in the original form. So originally, they give it to you as x plus y equals 8. So you need to write it as x plus y equals 8. Don't write it as a slope-intercept form, because that's something that we change it into. And do the same thing with the blue one, please. The blue line, the second equation. This time, the slope-intercept, b is 4. And then the slope is -1/3, so down 1 and right 3. Let's go down 1 and right 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 1, right 3, 1, 2, 3. Down 1, right 3, 1, 2, 3. And here are my two lines on the graph. Please circle the point where they intersect, and it will be here. That's the point of intersection. And state what it is because we have to write the answer. The answer is this point, the x value is 6 and the y value is 2, so it'll be 6, 2. Our solution, or the point of intersection, is 6, 2. So the answer is 6, 2. But what does 6 mean in the story? And what does 2 mean in the story? Please remember to interpret or explain what this number means in the story. And it means, since x stands for number of extra kicks, if x is 6, that means there are 6 extra kicks. And the y value is 2, but y stands for the number of field goals. So then if y is 2, that means there are 2 field goals. So then this part here underlined is our final answer. And that's because you have to say what it means in terms of the story. So if you have any questions, please write them down and ask me when you see me next. All right, thank you.